And of course, the one time that I'm traveling during a PlayStation State of Play, it turns out to be among the most epic ones. This was a really good presentation. I mean, you look at the likes to dislikes ratio here, the reception has been incredibly positive, in large part because there are actually some pretty good announcements and surprises here. So what I want to do in this video is spotlight some of the highlight moments of this State of Play and just kind of provide my take on it. The presentation kicked off strong with a sequel to Kain, which kind of made the rounds and made headlines due to its animation style. The developers came from an animation background for like movies and whatnot, and this is very much in line with that, except it's interactive, and it was just a really gorgeous game that was really solid. It still felt very much like the first game of a series, and a lot of people felt like if this got a sequel, it would do incredibly well, and they could refine all the areas that needed refinement and make it just more of a feature-complete experience. And so the fact that a sequel got greenlit and it's in development is something that a lot of people are happy with. And yeah, I mean, when you look at the gameplay footage, you can tell already that they've definitely improved a lot of things while still retaining the core of what made the first game so special. So this is a really cool way to kick things off. Kain, Scars of Cosmora. Then comes the announcement of Ghost of Yotei Legends, the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima's Legends, like free multiplayer mode that came out after launch. The fact that they're kind of doing that again with Yotei, I think is really cool. The gameplay of Yotei is really stellar, I think. And to be able to do this 4-player co-op mode that's no doubt been expanded upon from the original concept just makes this package that much more appealing, so this is really cool. Next up, we got confirmation that Death Stranding 2 is finally coming to PC. As someone who really loved this game on PlayStation 5, the fact that more people are going to be able to play it, I think is just really awesome, and it's got support for all of those PC features that PC gamers know and love, so big win there. Then we got a showcase of this game called Forloop, which is a co-op multiplayer experience that has some interesting concepts behind it, but man, the frame rate here looks real rough, and that's definitely something that I hope they'll fix before the game launches, but I'd have to check it out before really being able to say for sure if it's my kind of thing, but it's there. Now this right here is a big treat for me. Legacy of Kain Defiance getting remastered just highlights, hopefully, a scenario where Legacy of Kain is a series that will make a comeback, but for now, the fact that we can revisit this and play what is a pretty well remastered looking game here. I mean, look at this. Pretty stark difference. To me, that's wonderful. And beyond like updated graphics, you've got things like an updated third-person camera,
as well as bonus features like character skins,
as well as just additional enhancements and content additions.
deep lore, photo mode, and more.
I mean, they didn't have to go this hard. This really feels like a proper remaster.
And a playable demo of Dark Prophecy, the unreleased sequel to Defiance.
So yeah, that's pretty cool stuff. They also announced some updates for Dead or Alive 6, and then beyond that, they teased that a brand new Dead or Alive game is in development that they said we'll get more updates on later. Of course, they end on that shot. Now, one of the highlight showcases I thought was Control Resonant. We got a glimpse of it at the Game Awards, but seeing gameplay right here, just how incredible the aesthetics and the art direction looks here, combined with the combat, the melee combat here looking pretty good, reminding me of like Devil May Cry or Final Fantasy 16, but combined with all the elements that makes a Remedy game, makes this really appealing to me. And there's aspects that also remind me of like Gravity Rush, which is really cool. This just looks like the most mindfucky looking action game. It looks like Remedy's most ambitious game, and Remedy I think is a woefully underrated studio. I feel like their games should be selling much better than they have been. But I think this is one that could appeal to a lot of people with how action-intensive it is and with how refined it looks and how gorgeous it looks. And just, I mean, there's nothing quite like this out there. Fast forwarding to later on in the video, looking at some of these boss battles, it looks absolutely insane. This, I'm really thrilled to play when it comes out. And I mean, all of the gravity mechanics that tie into the combat, it all just looks really well done. And like this is going to be something a little different than the norm. Next up, we got Crimson Moon, which almost reminds me of Doom a little bit. It looks like third-person action fantasy Doom with how metal everything is. straight up just like fantasy Doomslayer. Just, yeah. It looks like a rock and roll kind of game that I'd be very interested in hacking and slashing my way through. Just looks like pure, like, adrenaline-infused fun. I'm about it. Next up, we got Beasts of Reincarnation. And yes, that is in fact Game Freak's logo, the developers of Pokemon. The fact that they're cooking so hard with this game was just kind of unexpected to a lot of people. But this is basically a Sekiro-like, obviously with its own unique premise, but it's a parry-focused system. And you can see all the inspirations that it took from Sekiro. And as someone for whom Sekiro is, like, my favorite Souls-like, FromSoft game of all time, the fact that we're getting a Sekiro-like with its own unique spin on it is just, like, it's exactly what the doctor ordered for me. Like, I've wanted more Sekiro-like games. I love parry mechanics, and this right here seems like it'll fulfill that, that dream for me, if you will. Hopefully it's as good as it looks. Then we have this game, Yako Shinobi Ops, which is being made by developers who worked on Tenchu, and it's got this very, like, tactical camera kind of situation. It's almost like a CRPG, like a classic RPG with the isometric over-the-top camera, but it's all about sneaking. It's all about ninja ops, and it's cooperative, and it's got this really interesting premise that I'm kind of all about. Classic, Metal Gear Solid box here, but, like, it's very tactical looking with the way, like, it shows you what your cone of vision is and stuff like that. And it's got supernatural elements. It looks wild. I as someone who misses Tenchu, the fact that we're getting something in that vein, but still with a unique twist, is really, really compelling to me. Now, this one's really interesting. Project Windless, based on the Korean novel The Bird That Drinks Tears, often cited as basically Korean Lord of the Rings. Now, fun fact, I actually voiced the protagonist of the books, Kagan Draka, in the, like, concept trailer for the game, the teaser trailer that came out a couple years ago. But this game is actually going to focus on what happened prior to the events of the novels, the books, 1,500 years prior to the events of the books, and it focuses on the events leading up to that. And you play as this basically giant chicken man called the Hero King, and it very much highlights the history prior to the books, and it gives the development team liberty to be able to shape the story and the narrative, and likely give players agency in some of that narrative. But it's this open world action RPG, basically Korean Witcher is how it's being cited, and the combat looks insane. It's almost like got elements of Musou, and also a bit of like that action RPG a la Black Myth Wukong kind of vibes, and it just looks really thrilling. And the world, the creatures, the monsters, the enemy designs all look really unique, all based on Korean folklore and mythology. And as a Korean, obviously this is very compelling just for that alone. But the game itself actually looks genuinely gorgeous, and like a lot of work and effort has been put into every bit of aesthetic design, and the gameplay looks really solid. And I hope the stories that this world tells will be just as compelling. Hopefully the RPG elements and the role-playing will be really fun as well. But looks really, really sick, and the size of crowds just utterly insane. This is a game being developed. This is a game being developed by Craft in Montreal, and so far so good. I'm really excited to see where this goes and to see more gameplay of this title. Next up, we got a new look at the brand new Star Wars pod racing game that they announced at the Game Awards. We're actually getting gameplay of it. And as someone who had a lot of fun with the N64 Star Wars Pod Racer, this right here so far is doing it for me. And it's definitely got Burnout vibes, and it feels like they're doing it right so far based on the trailer that I'm seeing here. Now, for Metal Gear fans like myself, this right here is incredibly thrilling. Volume 2 of the Master Collection, and it features none other than Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots, which has been trapped as a PlayStation 3 title. It's finally getting ported over to other platforms. It's finally being released from the PlayStation 3 prison, and I've been meaning to replay this, and the fact that we're going to get a modernized port of it, hopefully with enhanced frame rates, enhanced resolution, so on and so forth, It's incredibly thrilling. And it also comes with Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. That's being ported over as well. I'd say those two games make this collection worth it, especially Metal Gear Solid 4, as long as they do it right. I remember when Volume 1 of the Master Collection launched, it had a lot of rough edges, a lot of things that they had to fix, so hopefully they'll release this when it's ready and they won't fuck up the release so that, you know, we can just praise it instead of having to talk about all the issues. And yeah, I mean, I've got to say, Konami's on a roll because on top of all the Metal Gear stuff, they announced a brand new Castlevania game. And I'm actually really liking what I'm seeing here. I like the art style. I'm liking the combat. It feels like a modernization that is akin to Metroid Dread for the Metroid series. It's got this really good modernization of mechanics that both seems to take inspiration from what made old Castlevania games special, while also ensuring that this feels like they're constantly evolving.
So now we appeal to you.
And it looks great. The fact that Castlevania is coming back at all in any kind of way is just something that I wasn't expecting to see, and it's not some mobile game. It's like a real Castlevania game. I hope it's as good as it looks. Next up, I want to spotlight the brand new John Wick video game from none other than Saber Interactive, who did Warhammer 40k Space Marines 2. The fact that they're developing this game gives me just a lot more confidence. John Wick is straight up one of my favorite film series of all time, one of my favorite action film series, certainly, like literally top 2, top 3. And this looks phenomenal from what little gameplay we're shown. This is obviously just CGI, but there's a little bit of gameplay later on as we skip through. There it is. You know, they still got some refinements to do, but the fact that the combat already looks so authentic, and this is how the gameplay will be, like this feels like a true, authentic John Wick experience. And from what I understand, this is basically a prequel to the movies, you know, before he became Baba Yaga. Next up, we got a new showcase of Seros, where they highlight some of the ways in which they enhanced the Returnal formula with things like a new permanent progression system, among many other things. Like, this is just straight up Returnal, right? Like, in terms of gameplay. But it feels like they really took the roguelike elements and kind of pushed it to the next level. So yeah, this is just really cool that they've taken a lot of the feedback from the first game and really pushed everything forward with Seros. This feels like just a much grander, much more ambitious game. The first game already felt like really full-fledged and fleshed out, but it feels like this game makes that look a bit more like a prototype by comparison. And yeah, I mean, the gameplay looks stellar. I'm really excited to play this. We've got an additional showcase of Toecon with English voiceover and everything. And yeah, I mean, the gameplay looks stellar, the visuals look stellar, the way they've designed these characters to have more of like that Arc system influence, that Japanese influence, has just been really cool to see. And also spotlighting some of the voice talent of this game. Just... Is that Steve Bloom again? Yeah. Hell yeah. So yeah, they're bringing back some of the classic voice actors for these characters. I mean, this just looks stellar, man. Like, for a fighting game. And then we've got the big closer for the State of Play. God of War Trilogy. And, you know, when people saw this, at first they were like, oh, are we getting, like, another port or another remaster? What nobody anticipated...
Zeus! Your son has returned.
What nobody anticipated was the fade-in of the following word. Remake. Yeah, I mean, those are old games, and with God of War now being at the forefront of Sony. And the fact that TC Carson's coming back as Kratos, for young Kratos, or younger Kratos. It's just something I mean, that what a way to close out the show. And he basically spotlights that the game is in early development, so we won't hear about it for a while, but God of War, you know, like, those games have still aged fairly well, but they're still old enough now at this point that I think a remake could be justified. And so, I mean, imagining that original trilogy, taking modern technology and bringing every epic moment in those games with modern technology to life, with modern graphics, modern gameplay sensibilities, and just, I think the prospect of that is going to make a lot of people giggle and enjoy. Yeah, there is indeed one last surprise, and it comes in the form of the shadow-dropped God of War game. It's a God of War Metroidvania. It came out literally the day that this State of Play was streamed. And that's T.C. Carson voicing Kratos. But then there's this young, even younger Kratos being voiced by
Spartans! Our duty is to Sparta.
Anthony Del Rio,
Fear is a reaction.
who plays Chico in the Metal Gear series,
Press your attack!
and Kid Icarus,
Never on our backs.
he plays Icarus.
Never left behind.
And I love the aesthetic of it. I'm excited to play it and see what I think of it. I actually, again, I'm traveling, so I haven't had the chance to get my hands on it, but
The legendary saga of gods and monsters, of tragedies and triumphs, of destruction,
I love the art style.
redemption begins.
And the story that this will tell of an even younger Kratos is really cool. With T.C. Carson narrating as, you know, midlife Kratos. God of War, Sons of Sparta. So yeah, we get a glimpse of T.C. Carson's Kratos in this day and age. It's actually crazy how close it comes to Christopher Judge,
Is only the beginning.
but still has that like youthful cockiness, you know, that Kratos embodied in his youth. And so the God of War series kind of like developing the way it has, and the fact that we're getting remakes, and I'm sure they're still working on a brand new God of War that is being rumored to be set in Egypt with Kratos and Atreus. Like, God of War is cooking right now. So yeah, like it's just a lot of cool stuff here, and that wasn't even all of it. I skipped a couple of things that didn't draw my attention as much, but generally, this was, I think, a really solid State of Play with stuff here that really gives us some optimistic outlooks for PlayStation's future releases, and I'm thrilled. So yeah, I gotta say, Sony and PlayStation cooked with this State of Play. I'm really happy with all of the announcements that they made here. And I'd love to know in the comments below what your favorite announcement was and what you're most looking forward to from the slate of things announced at this State of Play. Thanks for tuning in, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.